Good afternoon, Ngozi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I have Shireen Groove. Hi, Shireen.
Hi, Namza.
How
Nice
are
to be
you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Really nice. It's Friday, TGIF. So
I
excited.
know. Yeah,
Hopefully
it's
we'll have sun.
yes, it is
For a change.
Friday weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Are you doing anything particularly this weekend?
I go to church on Sunday and then I spend time with the family after church, and then Saturday I have choir. I have to go to 2 choir practice.
Wow, that's quite a lot. It's also a very big commitment, isn't it, when you have something like that you have to do regularly?
Yeah, I'm going to work in the morning, and I normally work, and then in the afternoon I'm free, and then I'll go, and then I come back when I finish, and then see what these guys have planned for me. And then I have to work as well. Actually, I got a job.
Oh.
I got myself a job.
Okay.
This is the story. I know it's not in the topic. This story is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. So I was helping people applying for jobs and like getting the information for free and just sending them off and sending it off to Africa. They want to come to the UK for the care jobs and nursing. So I went to this website. I just put my name and my CV. I wanted to see whether they charge to put it as a test. So I put all my details and signed up properly just to see if they're gonna charge them when they look at the website there. So it turns out it's free. But for some reason, I was putting my own random qualifications and stuff. So and then I left the CV, I forgot all about it. And then this guy called me the other day. I was like, no, sir, do you still want a job? And I was like, this is embarrassing. I don't even know what he's talking about. So I was like, yeah, what job do you have? And it was like data analytics. So and I was like, yeah. Tell me more about the job. So he was telling me more about the job. It turns out the job, it is so easy optimizing apps. So I can do anywhere. I can be anywhere. Like when I'm talking over the phone or I just analyze the apps and stuff through Apple. And the money I get paid is just 2 hours. So I get paid for somebody who works full time.
That's magnificent. Well done.
Congrats. Yeah, £1,000 a week for 6 hours is 2, 4, 6, 8 hours.
Excellent. Excellent.
So I was like, okay, this is very interesting. So he was training me yesterday. So I was like, is there any more to this job that I have to do? And he goes, no, that's it. I was like, really? Shireen, they are at the top. They get paid up to 10 grand or 20 grand. I was like, but you're doing nothing. So I just have to say thank you for having a good heart, helping people. I end up with this job. I was showing my friend how this job, my friend goes, it sounds too good to be true. I was like, yeah, it sounds too good to be true. I'm still coming to terms with the job, whether it's real or it's not real. I have option. I can work 1 hour or 2 hours just to go and optimize the apps. He's taught me how to do it. It's very, very easy. And I get paid good money.
This is what, if you're lucky and you land in it and you take it, good on you. That's really lovely to hear. Congrats. I mean, that's
so I'm really pleased. I can actually, I'm still coming to terms with it, that I hear people getting paid for doing nothing. And I'm like, I heard another guy as well that I met, he was saying the same thing, that actually I don't have work. I like to work, but there's nothing I can do. That's why the company, it gives me instructions and I do this quickly and then I have nothing to do. So 2 hours or 1 hour and I get paid.
Nice.
So back to the topic for today, discovering the path to self-love and strong relationship. And I have a job at the university as well. I'm the lead manager there as well. So I got it last 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
I only work 2 hours as well. not much. I don't do much because everything is something that I already know. I just give the instructions and everything. But it is actually good for my experience.
Yeah.
I can book the speakers as well. So I'm responsible for booking the speakers. So as you guys, if I get instructions on how to book a speaker, if a speaker that is one of you guys or the person that I know, I can just, it's paid job as well.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah. So yeah. It's with the Arden University, it's a paid job. So you can just come on online, or it might be in person. I don't know. So I just book the speaker. They tell it. I just have to look at the budget. And if I have a speaker that can actually come and talk, or they can find me a speaker, then I just approve it. And then, so it's all good.
It sounds amazing.
And I just wrote my CV as well for fun and not being serious. And just bored working on the computer, because I work on the computer. And when I'm bored, when I'm not doing anything, I just let me apply. This job, it looks amazing.
Yes.
So I can,
this is and something there that's really interesting and it's so important is that there's energy going out, isn't there? There's looking, and it's not necessarily being attached to the outcome. It's saying, I'm just putting my energy there.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. And I'll take whatever comes. I can be discerning and I can choose. And I think that's a very powerful thing to be in that space, right? Because you become an attractor.
Yeah, and also I want Nkosi Talk Show to be a university one day, so I need to get to how the students think and ask them questions. So I need to be in that environment where I can just do some research and just ask them questions, and the job is just perfect.
Yeah, you're there.
So, yeah.
Excellent. I mean, I think that's important for anybody that's on here, is really to be aware when you have an idea what you want, then start to look for places or things in that location, like you were saying, because these talk shows you want in the university. So you're going to need to match those needs of those students, right? And so therefore you're placing yourself in the heart. You've got an agenda. You say, this is what I want. This is how I want to bring value. This is how I want to bring my form of love, really. And we're talking about love here. But this is how I want to bring my form of love across so that I can create new relationships. And this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that it's about creating relationships, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
becoming there, creating relationships.
And
strong relationships. Yeah.
And opening the doors as well, because I like you guys to get booked for speaking. So, and I'm responsible for that. So I can just request, I can just ask the staff to actually book, or if I have a speaker, if we are looking for a yoga speaker, yoga teacher, Amanda is there, or motivational speaker, you guys are there. So I can just say, oh yeah, I have a speaker or somebody that I know. So I can just get you guys, and it's not free, it's paid, it's a paid job.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just in the right place, and I like the hours as well, that I don't have to be there, because I've already know. I just give the instructions to somebody, they create the work, and they just ask me to approve it, and then I just approve it. It's not a lot of work, and also getting to know the student, what they think about studying, and just getting into their minds.
Yeah. And at the same time, the process of getting into their mind is also going to help clarify for them their needs, their wants, their desires. So it's not just about getting into their mind. There's an added benefit of when we reflect over things.
They teach me what I don't know. So they're teaching me what I don't know about them. So which is amazing, because if you want to do something, like now we are discovering the path to self-love and strong relationship, is just to get to know somebody properly and get to know yourself. And I've got to know myself. And now I'm thinking, if I don't know something, why can't I just go and humble myself? I have a business, and I applied. I didn't think they were going to take me serious, actually. And I just applied, and they came back to me and they were like, your application is very, very actually very exciting and we like to have you. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's just putting myself out there and saying, I want to know myself and I want to know the things that I want because I love myself. I've gotten to know myself. But when you love yourself, it means you just kill your egos and just get out there and get to know other people in relationship or even intimacy relationship. That's how it works. I don't know. What about you, Shireen? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and there are so many things and so many facets to the idea of self-love and strong relationships, I think. And I think that, one of the things that's really very, very important is that when we come with this idea that when we're talking to someone else, we're actually in a way talking to us, right?
Yeah.
So the more we know ourselves, the more we can anticipate or get a sense of what's going on for another, because we are in a way mirroring them to some degree. And I think that when we truly love ourselves, we will meet people without an agenda.
Yeah.
I think this is something that I was thinking about today, that actually while I was busy showering, I had a conversation with someone, and it was really about a kind of situation in a relationship at home. And I sort of said to this person, you've got to love people without an agenda. You have to be able to love them to be themselves.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like what they do, you have to learn to love yourself enough, feel safe enough in yourself that you can love them to be themselves. That doesn't mean that you have to accept bad behavior, but what it does mean is that you are not attached to their behavior. So you don't take the responsibility for the behavior. You're just saying, with the best of intention right now, I can only love you. I can only care about you, but the rest is up to you. Yeah, the rest is up to you. And what more loving way than to just give people the permission to be themselves and not try and change them. Allow them to change because they see the change in you, or to see who you are, right? Because when we're in that, it's a different type of force that's surrounding us. And I think when we always talk about the self-love, I think when we can give ourselves that ability to truly accept ourselves and truly be in the place where we are, not judging ourselves, having no agenda, it gives us the freedom to do that for others. And so that then means that we have more of a chance to build relationships, maybe that have been destroyed even, that we can get to those places where we can be open now and allow that vulnerability to be there. And also acknowledge maybe our part in that deal as well, right? Because often when we meet people from another time, we go with our old story and our old story was running and now we're in a new one. So they're still remembering the old story. They're still triggered to that old story. So we have to live the new self, or the self-love, the act of self-love that we're living, so that they can see that there is a difference. And that then just gives the safety for relationships or strong relationships to maybe start. Oh, you've gone off. You're on
I always mute myself. I love that, Shireen, what you just said yesterday. I spoke about something similar yesterday when I did part one, that, when you meet someone, mostly when it comes to relationship, that what you just said, that it's nice to actually get to know somebody without trying to change them. We meet people, we have these ideas of what kind of people we like to date or what kind of friends we like to hang out with. But we have this idea of what we are as a person, and then we want those people to become what we are. It doesn't work. What you just said as well, I can agree with you 100% that it does not work. When you meet somebody, they tell you their story. Nomsa, this is the person that this is who I am. All you have to do is active listening. Just listen to their story. And when you listen to their story, you welcome that person into your world, in your mind. You welcome them into your mind. Once you welcome that person into your mind, then you relate it to the story that you're being told. Because that person is telling you their values, is telling you their beliefs. They're not saying they're yours, but they're telling you who they are, what makes them, what with the foundation of who they are. And then and once they tell you their story, then you sympathize with the story. And once you sympathize with the story, they're in your world, then you sympathize with them, then the connection. Once you connect without expecting that person to be you, once you connect with that person, authenticity, there's two people. That means that there is two people that have become one. Friendship, intimacy, friendship, or family is all the same. Once these two people are linked, then there's two worlds. They're all gonna try to work together now.
Yeah,
it's the part that you both are taking, and mostly in intimacy, when you try to change your spouse, it doesn't work. It's like as a man, for me as a woman, I know what's my role as a woman. I'm a mentor. When I'm dating somebody, I don't try to change them. I just try to find out what makes them who they are, and I mentor them to become that by listening, by asking questions, by opening opportunities if there are opportunities, and telling them, even if there is fear in me about their dreams, I just have to make it easy for them and support them to get there. So I 100% agree with you, Shireen, that if everybody else can learn to try to change some people, this world would be a very, very exciting world.
It would be. It would be. And you know what? A couple of points that you brought up there, which was that active listening.
Yeah.
And it's so, we're not taught to actively listen, are we? And
No.
what are we doing when we're actively listening? What are we looking for? And I think that it's so important that we, because we can still have the agenda, but if we have an agenda that's looking to raise this human being, right? If you have that in your active listening, you'll be looking to see how that person can be raised just by sort of saying, wow, that's amazing that you think that. How did you come by that? Just by actually giving that openness and that ability to just really see them and to actually uplift them allows them to go, oh, I hadn't thought about that way. Ooh. And it gives them that little buzz high, which creates and builds a stronger connection. So part of the active listening is also about looking for those places where you can uplift. So one, yes, find their beliefs, find their values. They're telling you that. But active listening is actually asking and looking at things in a different way, trying to go into that exploration where you're finding more of that information, not just from curiosity, but because behind that is you want to really help that person see just how great they are. And when we allow people to see it, when we look to say something like, wow, God, I had a lady, a mum who basically was coming to me for depression, and she had 2 kids. And the thing that she said to me and on our first session was, I said, oh my God, not only are you a person that's been, in fashion, and you've been doing some amazing things, running the show, and I was in awe. And she just stopped and she said, I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that, because in her depression, she had just thought about, I'm here and I'm doing this, and I'm comparing myself to everybody else. And I was kind of going, whoa, hang on a minute. There's this person that was before you were pregnant. You were this. wow, how did you manage to do that? How did you bring some of those skills across? And just by actually asking those kinds of questions and then listening for the cues that would allow you to enhance, to amplify their greatness, really helps just bring that connection, but it brings an openness so that they can begin to be more of who they truly are. And I think that, you know, what you were kind of saying there as well, I mean, part of the active listening, we can't go with an agenda because we can't have what we want them to be, but we can go with an agenda for ourselves to find out so much more about this human being so that we can illuminate them in a way that will expand them. Because if you're expanding them, let's tell you what, the simply, amplifying another human being automatically amplifies you, automatically. So you both win. You both get a bonus here and you feel good and you get that strong relationship starting to form because it forms trust. Because you've listened enough to take the time to really see this person deeply inside. Yeah. But you can't do that if you don't know yourself very well.
I love that. Yeah, we have to know ourselves.
Yeah.
Self-love is very, very important because we neglect ourselves and we don't really look after ourselves, but we are good at looking after the wardrobe, forgetting that soul inside of us. Yes. And I was guilty, one of the guilty ones in 13 years ago. I really used to spend time making sure that when I stepped outside, I didn't step in the mud. I made sure that my hair matched my eyelashes, my fake makeup, my fake hair, my shoes, my handbag. When I step outside and people will be like, wow, she is so beautiful. She has a beautiful body. She's so beautiful. Look at her, how she walks, she dresses in the inside, broken. I didn't do any personal development or really take good care of myself properly, because taking good care of yourself, it means you work on personal development and work on your growth. And I didn't do that until actually I said, I don't like this life. I think I saw my life really, really different because back in Africa with my dad and my stepdad, they used to push me to look at my growth. And when I came to the UK, I just tried to fit in with friends. And it's so painful. Honestly, I don't know, Shireen, if you have been into this journey where you meet people, you try to fit in with them. It's miserable. It's so painful when you try to walk like your friends, you try to speak their language, you try to dress like them. It's just so depressing.
Yeah. Well, you're always comparing yourself, aren't you? You're always in a state of comparison.
Yeah.
And you're always looking with criticism, not just at yourself, but at criticism at others.
Yeah.
And then it becomes very hard to, when you're not feeling good, it becomes incredibly difficult to praise someone else. It's hard. Right? And so the last thing you want to do is be in a space, because when we're feeling good, we want everybody else to feel good. This is the way we are. If we're happy, our natural disposition is to make someone else happy when we're happy. You watch a little baby, the moment it's happy, it's out there and it wants to say hello to everyone. And this is what we are like. When we're happy, we hug. We want to give. We want to do all these sort of things. If you can have a base of self-love that gives you that steady happiness that glows within you, it means that you are always going to be you're going to be predominantly positive in the way you look at things. You're going to be more optimistic. You're going to see the opportunities. And even if bad things happen, you're more likely to see it as a gift, right? You're more likely to go, okay, You know, there has to be a gift here somewhere. I don't know yet. Right now, it's hurting like hell, but there's a gift here. What's the gift? I'm going to wait. I'm not going to run away from this. I'm just going to wait and find out what this gift is and let the feelings go or whatever's there so that you can really begin this forward movement in your body and in your brain so that you can start to begin to magnify yourself in a different way. And I think that that's, you know, that is the kindness that we can give to ourselves. I mean, the gift we give to ourselves is that we learn to love ourselves, truly. And the gift that then happens for everybody else is we love them, paradoxically. Because when we have a gap here, as you said, I was broken inside. I had all these wonderful things, all these beautiful clothes, wouldn't make a step wrong. Everyone thought I was amazing. And yet you were alone.
Yeah. Feeling all alone. Yes.
Right. And you couldn't tell anybody that you were in pain. Right. Because what would that mean? You'd fall off your pedestal, right? Or they would think less of you or whatever. And so therefore it's a very lonely place to be. But if you can just love yourself, because, you know, we're here in this earth and we are unique. So we're worthy of love. So just, you know, if we can just love ourselves, then that means that everything else, there's no comparison.
No.
We are unique in ourselves. And we've got the group, which is your uniqueness. You know, you are unique in yourself, and you don't need to compete in a sense of a negative competing. There's a sense of, when I say competing, that we can compete to improve ourselves and move, as long as we're not using an external validator. So we're not trusting that it's got to be like that person, like this, like that. If we're going, oh, I want to do this because then I'm show that I've improved, you know, so you reflect on it, or you look at a scale and you, oh, okay, so I'm here and I'm here, this is good, or I've built more muscle, or depending on what your desire is. But if you've got your own measure and you're only measuring to yourself, right? And you're not beating yourself up, but that you're giving, you know, I did some exercises the other day and I sat there and I said, you know, I'm in pain here, but thank you. Thank you, body. Thank you for letting me get up and do this, even though the last thing I wanted was not to. For me, that's self-love, where you actually sit and you say, thank you to your body, even though, you know, you haven't wanted to do this, but you have. So these are the kinds of things that I think can be very, very powerful for all of us.
I love that, Shireen. I love that because when we compare ourselves with our friends or family, it's very easy to be caught up in this website where you compare your car, you compare your houses, you compare everything that you have with the holidays, how many they go, your neighbors or family, how many years they go on holidays, how many times in the holidays, what kind of holidays. You end up caught up in this competition cycle that does not make sense. To me, if I have to compete with somebody, it doesn't make sense. And I always hear people say, like, when they go out, they're like, I have to look good. I have to be seen. I'm like, to be seen by who? You have to be seen by your God and yourself. When we buy clothes because they make us feel good. They make us look good. If you yourself don't enjoy the clothes, you might as well not buy it if you're buying for somebody else to look at you. So yes, people, they admire you. They will admire you. But at the same time, you've got to enjoy that. Like myself, if I go to a shop, it's never good news for me if I have to do shopping, Shireen, because I can sit on the computer for 8 hours looking for one dress. It's never, ever a good thing. And then for that 8 hours, or I could just go on a website that I know that I've used in the past and just buy something straight away because my eyes caught my eyes and I can see myself in it, enjoy it. or simple. It's not that like when I'm looking for a dress, it's like it has to be glamorous. It has to be, I just buy simple. I like glamorous clothes. I buy them, but I never spend money. I register myself to this website when they have special offers, like £1,000 dress, I can buy it for £20 sometimes.
Wow.
Or 80% discount, or I can buy it because sometimes I wear clothes once and sometimes you don't wear them. It depends. So I don't really spend lots of money, but the quality of clothes, I buy them in the quality of the website. When they have special offers, I don't have to check. They send me email. We have sales, come along. So I just go. And that's what happens. And I do that in my own way. Or if I'm doing something, I just do it in my own way because I love it. I don't do things because I've seen. If somebody gives me an advice, like yesterday, I was talking to one of my daughter's dance secretary, and she was saying, oh, she went to a boarding school. So we started talking about schools and stuff. And I was like, I didn't know in the UK they have state boarding school. And she was like, oh, yeah. And she said to me, no, that was then. I don't think they still exist now. So I just Googled them, and they do exist.
Yeah.
They still exist, the state boarding school. So I was like, oh, it's something that I've learned today. I never knew that there's a state boarding school like under government. It's something that I wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, it's just, we learn when we are having a conversation with our friends or family, we learn from each other. But when it comes to discovering the path to self-love, it's a journey that you have to take yourself.
Yeah.
Because that inner child, when it's crying out loud, just to be you, saying, I want to be me, I don't want to be this person that you want me to be, then you just have to work on you and become that person. And when it comes to relationship, the people that you surround yourself with in that relationship, they will have joy because they won't have stress. I don't stress my friends. I'm a very, very simple person. If there is something that I need or something that I feel that my friend would like, I'm very, very simple. I keep things very, very simple. And I tell them, don't go around and copying me because you don't even know what I did. The other day, I was having problems with the website and I didn't know. And Daisy is like, I think he was so confused. There were so many things that were going on.
Yeah.
So I said to my family, anyone who wants to go and watch TV, maybe TV series or movie, do you guys fancy watching something? They were like, oh no, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and study online. And because everybody's doing whatever they want, I always check on them if they want me or they want to watch a movie. It's normally it happens once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time. So then I went to I pressed YouTube, and then I found one of my church. They were doing overnight prayer 3 days. Right. So I was like, okay, let me join in. So I'm joining this prayer. I'm thinking it's going to last for an hour. And then I'm looking, it's 2 a.m. I was like, oh, we're still praying. It means we are praying all night. So we're just praying. And then the pastor is just saying, your helpers, if they're not returning your calls, or maybe they're struggling to actually help you to find a way forward, just pray. And then we're just praying, we're praying. And then the following day, and the pastor prays, he goes, whoever has got similar problems, in the morning, you're going to get a message and they'll find a solution to help you. And then Desi did find a solution to come and help me. And then he called me in the morning. He was like, Nomsa, I was just finding a solution, just trying to think the way, but I think I found a solution for you. And those are the things. So it's somebody who doesn't know. They'll just look at me and say, oh, I'm just going to copy Nomsa and everything is going to be okay. But they don't know what happens behind the scenes, what makes Nomsa the person that she is. I pray. I fast. Sometimes I can, if my life is not working, if I feel that there's a stagnance, my life is not moving, I can even fast for 70 days. That's what my church they do. And in that way, I'm just looking to activate my inner me and trying to find my true self. And that's how I live my life. But imagine somebody who doesn't know Shireen, and they read about you on social media, they see their post and they try to be you. For me, it's like, if I'm reading somebody's post, there are some people that I actually go and look for. I'm like, what's happening? I don't see you on social media. It's like when I read their post every single day, they become part of my family. And it's like, I know their character. This is what makes this person. So if I don't see their post, I'm like, oh, I miss Shireen. What's happening with their post? So then that's when I'll be like, oh, let me go to a Facebook and like her post so they can come on my news feed. So that's how I actually put people as my role model. I never want to actually copy somebody. I just want them to be my role model, because when I look at you as my role model, I know whenever I'm stuck, I can message you and say, oh, I see you found a solution. I'm trying to find a similar solution. Can you help? So then I get help from you instead of me trying to be you and dress like you and just be like you. Doesn't work.
No, it absolutely doesn't work. And I love what you said there, Nomsa, which is, you know, the fact is nobody really knows what you do. And I think, I think the amount of effort and what you do in a sense of, say, you go and pray for a long period of time, or you do fasting, because you want to get, basically you want to clear yourself,
cleanse
anything else, so that there's just you left, right? Just you, and then you can do something because you haven't got all these extraneous things that are going on. I think that's the hard part for other people to really get to understand and to follow, because that isn't where they are, right? And we all, as human beings, we like to take shortcuts, right? We want to put the light on straight away. We want to get that now. We're this instant gratification, and we're living more in a world where instant gratification can happen, and so we have an expectation of it, and that means that we don't spend enough time in the contemplation, enough time in the building of those structures that will help us. So, you know, fasting helps you in the sense of it brings things to us, kind of it brings more power in, doesn't it? It brings more power to you. You're collecting all the stuff that you need, and you're kind of getting rid of the stuff that you don't need. And I think you did one of the topics on prayer, didn't you? And I was thinking, well, this is such a powerful thing. What happens in prayer? What are we doing in prayer? And I think there's a lot of structures that are happening in a lot of ways. One is we're surrendering into a trust that's allowing us to be open to whatever we're going to be given, but we're also asking, right, in a very direct and very clear and very powerful way. And we're also using the whole of our body, in the case of what you're doing, the whole of our body to say the prayer that it resonates with every essence of your being. And I think that is such a powerful mechanism to bring things into focus for us, which means that at that moment in time, it's almost like the universe or God cannot not help but give you the answer, because we've put so much energy and focused so much energy in that direction. And I think that, when we focus on ourselves in order to find ourselves, that sense of the act of love, because we're moving and we're finding our heart, that is going to give us the best relationship with ourselves. And the moment we have a strong relationship with ourselves, know what are our non-negotiables, what are our desires, what are the things we want, who are we, then we can allow others to be who they are, because we just see that they're a reflection of the God inside them, right? Namaste says, I see the God in you, right? So we see the God in each other. And so therefore we want to get close. We want to help each other. We want to glow together, right? So that we make a brighter light. And that sort of feels sort of the epitome of what I think good relationships are, and the epitome of what self-love does, because that allows that's the succession of relationships to happen.
Yeah, it's actually very, very important to actually, when you discover the person you are, it's not an easy journey. Some people, they say, like you were saying, Shireen, that is something that does not happen overnight. It's a step-by-step journey that when you are discovering yourself, and also when you are learning to love yourself as well, because remember, there are so many layers that have been put in that foundation, negative ones. So in order for you to cleanse yourself properly and become the person that you're meant to become, is going to require work. Some days you might have hard times to actually work on yourself. That is fine. Maybe you might feel low energy. You don't have to judge yourself or compare yourself with somebody else, because the truth is we never know what other people are feeling. I always say to my spouse that no matter how much I say I know you, I don't. In this house, they call me nosy, but I always ask questions if I really, really want to know something. And they're like, why are you asking these questions? And I'm like, I need to know you as a person, because if I assume that you are the person that I know, and I know you like this, yes, I know you do, but I still have to go back and check with you if you are still liking those kind of things, because it's good to get to know somebody, their world, and also and be curious about things. And in the house, they're like, Mommy, you're being nosy, or you say you're being nosy. I'm like, I just want to know. Even with the kids, I go back and ask them, do you want this, or do you, and they're like, Mommy, stop being creepy. I'm like, I'm not being creepy. It's nicer to ask than to assume. So I'm like, I'm not gonna assume that I know your character, guys, because I don't. You are the people that I'm learning. I'm rediscovering more about you, and the way I understand life, Shireen, there's more to people. So that's why, because I'm putting my own character, how my character is becoming, becoming the person that I am, is because of allowing myself to grow, and not to say, oh, I think I'm like, know everything, I know it all. No, I know that I don't. So I learn when I see, like I did the 30-day challenge with Matthew Hansi. And when I did the 30-day challenge, when I finished the 30-day challenge, I was like, okay, I keep hearing these pastors saying, if you keep having problems in life, that means you are powerless. That means you're really not connected to God. You are just somebody who goes to church like everybody else. You are an ordinary person and who just pray like ordinary people. And I was like, in my heart, are you trying to tell me that I'm having these problems? I'm an ordinary person and I'm not connected to God? And I was like, okay. And then my pastor explained what you need to do as a person. And I took that advice and I came home and I put it on top there. Like I work here is on top there to remind me. And the prayer, the instructions that he gave to actually pray and connect yourself to God, I use that prayer every single day. And I can tell you, in my spirit, I can feel the strength I was weak before. I could feel it. Now I can feel the difference. I'm more awake. I'm more alive. But before, I just feel like before I was a walking zombie. I wasn't aware. You know, when you are not aware of what is around you, you see things and you think you're awake, but you're actually your subconscious mind is sleeping. So that's the person that I was, and I thought, you know, I'm good at this with the personal development, my confidence. Honestly, I thought I was cool. But the more I pray, the more I connect with God, the more God shows me that, Nomsa, you want to connect with me? I give you tough love. Tough love, it means he brings people to test me. You know, like I can see the test that this I'm being tested. I'm saying I want to connect with him. It's like, you want to connect with me, Nomsa? I give people tough love. You have to be a soldier in your own life. You have to live like a soldier. A soldier, it means when you have problems, you don't cry. You find a solution. Like athletic mind. I thought athletic mind was very, very powerful, but now I'm having second thoughts because the more, honestly, Sharina, the more I pray, it's a simple prayer, raw power of God to fall upon me. The more I pray this prayer, the more I'm realizing that my life is being tested. There are problems that are being presented. Like when my website wasn't working, and I'm trying to text Des is not replying to me, and I'm forgetting that in June, as before 6th of June, that's his death, his mom's death. So he always tried to separate himself from the crowd to just have some me time. I forgot all that. And I was like, why is this man not replying to me? So, but then I had to remind myself where he's took me, where we've been together, and the things that I do today, that he contributed that part in my life. So and then I was like, that is God reminding me he's my helper. And when I was praying, the pastor saying pray, I was like saying, my helper, wake up, get up, wake up, make some decisions, make up your mind. How can you help me with this solution? And I had to tell him how I feel as well, that you're my family. To me, that's how I feel, that you're part of my family.
Yeah.
I like my relationship with you to be the way it is, and I don't want it to change by not the website not working and stuff. And just because I was praying, he called me and we had a chat, and I realized that he's going through this life changes without his mom. It's another year without his mom, but I think he just need to get deliverance and forget about it. Love his mom. That's how I used to be, actually. And I realized, actually, when I did the deliverance for my father's death, now when I look at my father's picture, I smile. I'm no longer hurting anymore. I smile. It's like, I'm like, I wonder what you're up to in heaven, whether you are in heaven or you are in hell. So I always pray to God and ask for forgiveness if there's anything that my parents did that will keep them chained in hell to be released. So that's what I do, just setting up a prayer there. So it takes a lot. Becoming the person that you want to become, it takes a lot of work. People think you can just become somebody, you can just copy somebody and just become that person and just dress like the way they dress and just do whatever you want, but you can't. You just have to live your life. Even if people think it's not perfect, but as long as perfect for you, because we're living for us, not for other people.
And that is the end of the day. You come into this world as an individual. And you've got to and you will go out as an individual. Or you'll walk into heaven as an individual, whichever way we can go whichever as far left field as possible. But I think what's so powerful, and I think what I want to come back to this, where you say every day I've been praying, and I've got something up there that you look at and you connect to. And you're and what I'm hearing is a commitment to connect to God. So every day you're bringing that connection and you're building the structures inside you, the neurological structures inside you, which, you know, we know on some levels really changes the way our brain is. And it also increases a certain kind of brain rhythm that then activates these very high order thinking. So compassion, empathy, curiosity, a willingness to let go, a willingness to surrender to the real truth. I think these are the skills and that can only happen truly when we have taken time to actually commit to saying, you know, I don't know, so help me. I'm going to commit every day to connect so that I feel this. And you said something very clearly. I can feel it now in my body. I can feel it. Right?
I can feel the strength.
You can feel the strength.
Yeah.
So, and I think that what some of the lessons are not just about telling us to soldier on it. Maybe it's what we need to let go of that doesn't belong anymore.
Yeah.
It could also be, and I think what I really have noticed when I was doing some work recently, I realized that, you know, because of my situation with my mum, I realized that there was a kind of a love that was coming and growing, which I hadn't really felt. And you saying, now I can look at my photograph and I am happy. I'm not sad anymore. And this is when we start to grow and develop this self-love muscle. I'm going to call it a self-love muscle, but actually it is really developing this connection that it's like a great big, I don't know, white beam through us. So instead of this tiny little sort of string that we have, it's not there. We have this massive big channel that then we live in. And I think that's where you are right now. I think that's what you've started doing and you've committed to that and it's showing. You're starting to see the benefits of that abundance coming in. Oh God, 2 hours and you're making, well, all that amount of meat. We're going to have a talk about that. And all of the other things. And I just think that it's so spectacularly amazing. And it's something that you can truly sit back and go, wow, I did that. I've made the effort. I've grown these internal structures for myself and I've listened. I've humbled myself, which is what I'm hearing, was the humility of willingness to listen to your pastor, willingness to listen to whatever you get told, right? And I think that's different from the old maybe arrogant Nomsa a long time ago, you know, who thought she might have known it all, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is a different Nomsa, because this is a Nomsa that's not arrogant. This is a Nomsa that is open. And, you know, it always reminds me of the story about the gate in Jerusalem, where they always used to say for rich people, they would come with their camels laden and basically they'd have to take everything off before they could go in through this very narrow door. But this is what it's all about. We can only go through a doorway as ourselves, with nothing else. So we may as well love that self, because that's all we really are.
We are unique.
We're unique.
And we are our uniqueness. That's what makes us stands out.
Yes.
And I love when I meet somebody, they show me their uniqueness. And I don't like somebody when they try to put on their personality that I don't understand. I like somebody, it's like there are some people, when you meet them, they always talk about their qualifications, their money, how much they are worth, how much. I'm interested in you. Tell me about you without telling me how much you're worth. So that's what I actually used to define relationship. I used to think that, when I'm looking for a relationship, I have to take, if a man is wealthy, I'm taking them, they meet my needs. If they have a big house, a beautiful house, they meet my needs. They have driving a nice car, they meet my needs. If I used to take so many things I used to take, they're so hilarious. It's like going to Sainsbury's, like maybe going to the designer shops and just picking the things and saying, I want this, I want that. So that's who I used to be. But, I've grown. And like when I was saying, like when my pastor was preaching, and I was like, he's talking to me. And then we have our head pastor as well, our GO. And then I listened to him online. He's talking about powerlessness. I was like, he's talking to me again. I've got to find out about this powerlessness. I keep having problems. The thing they were right about is me having problems. But when I'm having problems, not actually seeing the whole picture of the problems. So now I get to see when the problems comes, I get to see the part I played in those problems. And I also get to see, I was so glad when my website went down. I was like, I didn't fall out with this. I'm so glad. Honestly, I was like, I am so glad with my character. I said, God, thank you for my character, because every person that I meet in my life, I always try not to fall out with them. I always try to leave them in peace. I always try to live in a good, how we created that relationship. And I remember Sharon had this big event, and everybody, there's so many speakers that said Des wasn't real or Sharon were not real. But these people, me, I'm very, very close to them. Like I work with them. Like I saw Des when he was helping me. There were times where I didn't feel that I can do things. I thought I was confident, but when he started presenting things to me, I'm like, what now? Me doing that? I paid you to coach, to help me make money here in my business. I did not pay you to actually make me do the work. But then I realized actually it is a good person. Everything that I do here on social media is the points that he taught me. Nomsa, you got to be this. You cannot just be this. You have got to be this. Like a brother, when a brother gives you a pep talk or a father gives you a pep talk. So those were the things that his slogan he used to teach me, he used to preach. And I was like, okay. So all those things that I have learned, and I have this environment with you guys at Ngosi Talk Shows. And then I have this environment with my pastor where he teaches me how I design my life as a person creating. By the way, there's one thing that I have never mentioned. When you create discovering, loving yourself, it means you cannot, like I used to go to the bank. When I write with a pen, sometimes I'll put the pen in the bag. And my pastor says, no, you cannot take what is not yours.
Yeah.
Even when you're doing business deals, he says, when you do a business deals, if you love yourself, you know yourself, you have a good relationship with yourself, treat people with fair. So he always preached that. He says, treat people the same way you would like people to treat you. Love them and treat them well. And don't rip people off. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was doing a business the other day with a business dealer with this guy, and he was talking this percentage. And I was like, don't worry about me ripping you off. I have something watching in my head. I don't want to fall out with God. So, he talks about the consequences of when you do things, you say you love yourself, but then you do things not the right way. Your uniqueness, it has to stay unique. And, like when I say to you, I took on board me being powerless, is because sometimes the enemy is within us.
Yeah.
So we have to fight that battle, fight the battles within us, and then to be able to find that breakthrough in our lives. And that's what I do in life. And you live a happy life, stress-free as well. What you were saying, not trying to change, is exhausting, Shebini, trying to change. You know what I like about Nkosi talk shows, the coaches, everyone is so different in their own way. And when they come and speak, they talk about, they are unique, they are individual. They don't try to be something that they are not. You guys are humbled people, and that's what I like about Ngozi talk shows. We are not perfect for other people, but we love it. The way we are, we love it. And myself, I just always say, I design my own life, and coming here, adding value to people is what I love to do. And if there's anyone who is watching us and Monday to Friday, don't become a follower. Just try to make a phone call with Ngozi Talk Shows coaches. Find out what made them become who they are today, and just learn from them and be your own coach, your own mentor in your own life as well. Because I keep getting surprised. There are times where I think I know myself, but sometimes I don't. Honestly, I think I stayed all night on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Monday, doing my project? And I'm just writing, and I have questions, and I was like, why do I have to do this? Like, tell myself that I have to know everything. If I don't know something, let me ask. And then if I ask, and then I speak to other students, and they're telling me the questions that I'm asking, Nomsa, it's taking me 3 days to do this. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm surrounded by people that I know they can help me. You know, I got to the guy that was coaching me for business, is my friend. This thing, the project we are doing, the simple things that took us 5 days to figure out, he goes, oh, he puts that one there, he puts that one there, and then I'm done. And I'm like, it took you half an hour to actually implement everything, but it has taken me and these girls weeks and weeks to figure it out. And it was like, yeah. And I was like, that's why you're weed. They went to a boarding school. They are widows. Yeah, even Des is one of them. When I found out that he went to a boarding school, it's not because of the school, it's the independence. They learn, you have to learn when you go to a boarding school, you have to learn to fix things on your own. Like myself, like Shireen, you're from South Africa.
Yeah, I went to boarding school. Yeah.
You came to the UK.
For 4 years.
Yeah, you went to a boarding school, and then you came to the UK. UK is a boarding culture. It's not your culture. And then you had to grow up. You had to learn things. You had to learn to ask, where do I find this? And those are the things that we actually take for granted. I always see people who immigrated to the UK, and they're like, they look at themselves like they're nothing. So I'm like, do you know what it takes to say I'm going to immigrate to a different country and be on your own and survive? So we can start self-love from there.
We can indeed. It's
12 minutes past to Shireen. Any words of encouragement you want to give to our audience? And please let our audience know where they can find you.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, Nomsa, it's really lovely to be here, because it is one of those things where we can just truly be ourselves, and we can show up and just be here and share whatever's going on for us at that particular moment in time. And I think that's a very powerful thing to do. And I think something you said, which triggered for me, which was that, when we live in integrity with ourselves, we will always be on the right track, right? So, and I think it's really important to understand what integrity is. in a sense of understanding that there are universal laws that if, as you say, what goes around comes around, it may not come around in the way you think it'll come back, that it will.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to truly be as kind and as loving and as integrous as you can. Yeah, don't steal that pen. So, yeah, I think, So what I wanted to say is, the integrity is the bit that I really want people to kind of take back, because I think if you can do that, you will show the most self-love to yourself, because you will always be true to yourself. And if you're true to yourself, even if decisions are hard, you will be comfortable. You will not go into those stress places, because you will truly know that you've honored that. And that's real self-love. I think it is. So yeah, I'm Sherry Lovegrove, and what I do is I help mothers with mental fitness, so that they can have a good birth, and that they will be able to have children that are more calm, resilient, and happier. And so I'm going to be running a parents' mental fitness course coming up soon on the 30th of June. So that, because I really do believe that one of the things is, as we were talking early on, how do we create the self-love so that we basically regulate our system, and that helps us change our genes so that we don't transfer any unhelpful genes onto our children. And I say how the genes are expressed rather than genes, because we can't really change the genes, but we can change how they're expressed. So that those children can be happier and more able to be successful in life. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on all the social medias at sherrylovegrove.com if you want to look at my website. And yeah, have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shireen. And for me, I'm just going to leave you with this. Know that you are unique, and also building a loving and fulfilling relationship with your spouse or with your family. It requires self-love. And that self-love, it requires you to actually understand it step by step. Work on yourself. And don't be too hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. And as long as you understand that you have a mission on earth and you are unique, and your uniqueness makes you stand out, and then you're good to go. You'll be able to actually walk your path. And we are here at Ngozi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. If you are following us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're watching us there. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like our page and follow us. We have a group, Ngozi Talk Shows group, and the Unique Billionaire Mindset. If you can follow us there. I don't have a website, guys, at the moment. My website is under construction, is being rebuilt. So hopefully it's gonna be up. The website designer was like, "No, sir, give me 5 days or 6 days." I said, "Listen," or 7 days. I said, "Listen, everything has already gone wrong right now. Nothing will make any difference, even if it's 2 weeks. So you might as well give me a good website and take your time." So he was laughing. I was like, "I like you." So I was like, "Yeah, you got to have some sense of humor in every problem, every challenge that comes your way, and to build your relationship. Define yourself. You and God can define each other. God defines you, and you can define who you are. And never let people tell you that, because sometimes when we say to people we are working on personal development, people will say, "What a mumbo jumbo stuff. I don't believe in personal development. I don't believe in that." And then you watch those people, they are living a miserable life. And life is a joy. Life is a blessing. And why not have it? Why not have a blessing that is unique? So live with grace, everyone, and God bless.
God bless.